So while you guys are watching the Super Bowl, I want you all to pay attention when the Rams are on offense, especially when they're in a shotgun situation, especially early in the first couple of drives. I anticipate Sean McVay to come out in a shotgun formation and heavily pass situation, all right? Just because of how the Bengals will play the defense, especially with how the Bengals played their defense in the AFC Championship game. So just to give you an example, I anticipate the Rams to come out in a shotgun formation, 3-by-1 sets, all right? Because the most important thing is they want to isolate this corner right here. From the tendencies and the film, the Bengals like to play a robber in this situation, right? So they're going to get Von Bell. He's going to try to rob any of these routes that come out here. That's his job. He's going to try to rob everything here. But the thing is, what the Rams are going to focus, because the Bengals tend to show a tendency of playing man-on-man right here. So they're going to isolate Odell Beckham, number 3, right here. So if the Bengals corner play off, look for a lot of stop routes, a lot of quick routes right here for Odell. But if the corners are kind of try to jam Odell, look for Odell to get a lot of deep routes, a lot of fade patterns. So especially when they get in the short zone inside the 50-yard line. So look for this matchup right here, and I'm going to show you all a couple of highlights on how Sean McVay is going to take advantage of this Bengals defense right here on this formation. So watching the Super Bowl, while you guys are watching the Super Bowl, especially when the Rams on offense and when the Bengals are playing defense, especially in the first couple of drives, I anticipate Sean McVay and company to open it up, because the Bengals show the tendencies whenever they line up in this situation. Like the Bengals were playing a lot of robber situation, right? They were playing man-on-man in the backside. So as you can see, the corner right here playing man-on-man. So I anticipate Sean McVay and the Rams to take advantage of this whenever they see the Bengals playing that robber defense they played against the Chiefs, and leave the backside right here, which will be Odell one-on-one situation. I anticipate that. That's what's going to happen. So the question is how the Bengals are going to play. Are they going to press like this, like the way the Bucs did right here, or are they going to play off? So either way you look at it, man, I see a lot of attempts for Odell because the way the defense is going to dictate that. Just like right here. You see, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to play off or if they're going to play on. If they play off, this is what's going to happen right here. I expect Stafford to say, hi, Odell, boom, little hitch, boom, boom, get it easy, 5-6 yard every play. So they're going to be patient with that. So until the Bengals decide. So, and when the Bengals start creeping up, and then boom, like I said, it's going to be an easy situation it's going to be pitch and catch early until the Bengals adjust. So I think the Rams are going to identify this right here. So every time they play, the corners are playing off, you expect Matthew Stafford to cut back and get an easy 7-yard, man. Ching, ching, and keep on moving till the Bengals adjust. So we all know the Rams have one of the best pass rushing defensive line in the game, and the Bengals also know this. So in the Super Bowl, I anticipate Zach Taylor to come out in a lot of 12 personnel grouping. And 12 personnel grouping is basically 2 tight ends. So I see them line up in a lot of 2 tight ends because the Rams are pass rushing defensive line. They're not a run stopping defensive line. That's why they have problems against power teams. So I look for Joe Mixon to be a key guy in the Super Bowl. And also the Bengals also have what I call the X Factor, Joker. They want a 13 personnel grouping. Is they bring an extra tight end, but that tight end is actually an offensive lineman. So they bring an extra offensive lineman, and he's going to be number 70. So watch out. I think the Bengals are going to run a lot of 12 and a lot of 13 personnel grouping, especially against the formidable pass rushing defensive line. Like I said, they're a pass rushing defensive line, not a run stopping defensive line. So look for Zach Taylor to do a heavy 12 and 13 personnel grouping. If the Bengals have any hopes of hosting a trophy as far as being the Super Bowl champions, I think it's going to come down to Joe Mixon, not Joe Burrow. And it's going to come down predominantly to the personnel grouping. I think the Bengals' successful run grouping is the 12 personnel grouping, which is when they come out with 2 tight ends, right? You see number 89 and number 87. This is their heavy run formation right here. And he put the Rams defense who a little bit more light on their ass in a sense. They want to get after the quarterback. They don't want to make no tackles as far as stopping the run. So with this situation, you get them guys to work, because when they come in 12 personnel grouping, you can see the first movement for the defensive line is laterally. See, you want to make them go laterally, not forward, because if they come forward, that's bad news for the Bengals. So you want to get the Rams defensive line to move laterally right here. So coming out in 12 personnel grouping, 2 tight ends will definitely go and put the Rams defensive line in a compromised situation. but the Bengals also do a great job as far as coming out in 13 personnel grouping. And in their 13 personnel grouping is, if you don't know what 13 personnel grouping is, that's having 3 tight ends and 1 back. So right now, 1, 2, 3 tight ends and 1 back. But what makes this so good for the Bengals is the third tight end is actually an extra offensive lineman, number 70. So every time the Bengals run a 13 personnel grouping, that's the heavy set. And I think this formation right here is definitely going to put the Los Angeles Rams defensive line in a compromised situation. Look at this situation right here, man. Because the Bengals offensive line, they're better run blocking offensive line than pass blocking offensive line. So I expect Zach Taylor to dial up a lot of 12 and 13 personnel grouping as far as so put the Los Angeles Rams defensive line in a compromised situation.